Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we have an awesome opportunity to look at a 2026 rookie mock draft. I think we have a 4-round mock draft here on hand. And that's going to give us an opportunity to step into a new reality and say, if these landing spots were true and this draft capital were true, how would it impact Dynasty rookie drafts? We're going to do some mock drafts. I would hope that if you want to join me, that you are already a member on the Flock site, even if it's with a free account. If you haven't created a free account yet, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. Sign up with the code LAND, create a free account on the Flock site, and you will be able to join all of our mock drafts here. Let me know who I'm hanging out with. I see Mills in the chat. He says your boy Chad put out a new 4-rounder. We might have to look at that on a new stream then. That would be pretty funny. What's up, Rick in the building? Mike is here. Nicholson, what's up? He says under 1 month. Are we really? Wow. Yeah. I guess you're right. Is it really 29 days until the NFL draft? I don't know why that just kind of shocked me, but it always sneaks up so fast. What's up, Nick in the building? What's up, Jay Wills in the building? We've got Forbes, Killer, Potato Fish is here. What's up, Benjamin? What's up, D. Macy? That's true. 29 days. It's official from our official NFL draft countdown expert. 29 days is just bonkers. I'm actually planning out the content for the NFL draft right now, and damn, that's going so quick. Appreciate y'all joining in today. We are going to, again, like I said, jump into a rookie mock draft. I would love for you guys to join me. If you are not yet in our Discord, then the Nightbot will give you a link to join our Discord. Then once you're in our Discord, you will see the mock drafts tab. And I'm just going to say, I am here. Okay. This tab right here is where I'm going to send the link for you guys to join us from the Flock Fantasy site mock draft tool. Okay. So here we go. It will be first come, first serve. So I am going to go ahead and let you guys join in there. Appreciate y'all hanging out, and we're going to get this filled up for sure. Later on tonight, we've got plenty of trade questions and team reviews to get to as well. You can join the queue if you'd like to. One other thing to note, guys, that if you are a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member and you have yet to link your Discord to the Flock site, please do so, because you will be able to access our LAND Leagues tab, which is a Discord channel that allows you to sign up to our weekly real Dynasty Leagues that we host. For example, in the LAND Leagues tab right now, tomorrow night stream, there's already a league that you can enter to be a part of. You'll see that form there. You can fill it out. Rowan's going to be our commissioner there for the Athena League, which drafts on Monday night. So make sure that you link up your Discord and that you join this drawing for tomorrow night's league if you have yet to do so. Again, appreciate y'all big time being here. We are going to use the landing spots from Dynasty Nerds 4-round mock draft. I'll put that link in the chat. And I will also put that link in the mock drafts channel so you guys can reference it there in the Discord at any point if you lose it in the YouTube chat. So we're definitely going to jump in there. Appreciate y'all coming here and showing up. What's up, Thomas? That's very kind of you. JS Film Clips says, Zach, you helped me win my Dynasty League in 2024 when you vouch for Puka Nacua. Thanks, bro. That's funny because, yes, I am a big Puka Nacua guy, as many of you guys know. But without knowing what was going to be said in the chat, we are doing a giveaway, and we're going to give away one of our live team playbooks. And on today's stream, I made the code word. Can anybody guess what the code word is today? I'm talking about Puka Nacua. Okay. You have a chance to win a live team playbook, our tier 1 product. The code word today is bite me. Okay. That's the code word. So if you want to enter today's giveaway, all you have to do is simply step 1, like the stream. Step 2, type bite me into the chat. And it has to be all one word, by the way. Can't have any spaces. If you're not sure what's going on, well, a woman in LA claimed that Puka Nacua broke her skin biting her. And then there was this photo that came out, which is just insane to look at. I am not at all a doctor. I don't know much about teeth marks or anything, but that is just gnarly, dude. And my gosh, I mean, this guy, Puka Nacua, is doing some stuff lately where I'm just like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm not even saying he did this because I don't know. But that is difficult to look at. I hope this guy has people in his life that are going to help him make good decisions moving forward. But that is today's code word. The code word is bite me. 2 spots remaining in that mock draft, by the way. But let's go ahead and step into a new world created by Dynasty Nerds. And it was created by Bobby Bishop. Now, I can't show you a big photo of Bobby, but this is Bobby, okay? So again, if you have any problems with today's mock draft, I did not make the mock draft. Bobby Bishop did, and you can yell at him. So let's step into this world, and let's see how it would impact Dynasty rookie drafts. So he has Fernando Mendoza going 101 to the Las Vegas Raiders. No shock there whatsoever. The next offensive player we get off the board is Carnell Tate going to the New York Giants. This would be a great fit for him. He would complement Malik Neighbors really well. And obviously, if you own Jackson Dart, I think we would all be quite excited about the idea of like a Dart Tate Neighbors pairing. I think that would all be awesome. Right after that, we get Mekhi Lemon off the board. And he goes to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns definitely need receiver help. Outside of really Harold Fannin, they don't have any weapons that they can reliably target. So if you're going to say, okay, let's see what Shedeur Sanders can do, maybe you give him a weapon here, Mekhi Lemon. He'd be the wide receiver one pretty much instantly. At 7, Jeremiah Love goes to the Washington Commanders. Now, the Commanders have made a lot of moves at running back already. You know, adding Rachaad White, bringing back Jeremy McNichols, Jerome Ford. So I guess if they made this move, they would cut one of those names. And look, if Jeremiah Love's on the board at 7, you have to consider, if you're the Commanders, he would be your best weapon from day one, outside of Jaden Daniels using his legs on his own, right? So I think that's the spot. I think if everyone was honest, the spot that they really want Jeremiah Love to land is probably Washington, unless you own like Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt or Rachaad White. Because if you do, I mean, honestly, that would probably just completely destroy any value that they currently have. But I actually went out to our YouTube polls, to our post section, and I asked the question, where does Jeremiah Love play in 2026? Okay. Currently, there are 2,500 votes, over 2,500 votes, and the vast majority of people believe that he will be a Tennessee Titan. 60% of you guys who have voted there said he's going to Tennessee, which a lot of people don't think he gets outside that top 5. What I was surprised to see is that only 8% think he's going to be a Giant. I think maybe we're playing with our dynasty mindset there a little bit. A lot of us probably have Cam Scatterboo, and we want things to be simple. We don't want things to be messy, because I do think the Giants could be a landing spot for him. But 2 most common responses here, Commanders and Titans, and you see him go to the Commanders here at pick number 7. Okay, next offensive player we get coming off the board is pick 14. The Baltimore Ravens go with Jordan Tyson. Obviously, it's a new coaching staff in town. It's the first time Lamar Jackson has had a brand new head coach, and there's potential for this offense to change. I'm still not hyped and thrilled about the idea of Jordan Tyson going to the Ravens, but that's the world we're living in. We're also seeing Kenyon Sadiq to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I still have many concerns about Sadiq as an offensive weapon. We know he's a great athlete. We know he can improve your run game from day one, but I still have concerns about him as like an overall receiving threat from day one. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. At 16, we have the Jets going Denzel Boston. This is a high for Boston. I really would be shocked if the Jets did this, but let's live in this world, okay? It's not my world. Again, it's, what's this guy's name again? Someone remind me. It's his world, okay? So let's try and live in it the best that we can. Boston goes to the Jets. Don't really love that pairing, but he goes top 16. At number 19, the Panthers get Omar Cooper Jr., which I'm not obsessed with at all. I kind of hate that spot. I don't even know if I really love Tetairoa McMillan catching passes from Bryce Young. A defense that's very good, a team that wins with defense in the run game. I don't know. But he goes top 20. That's fun. The Steelers get Ty Simpson. Um, then, and obviously the Ty Simpson conversation lately has been crazy with Dan Orlovsky coming out and saying he's his quarterback one. Yeah, who knows? Is there one more weapon in the first round? That is Miami Dolphins getting Casey Concepcion. So, with all due respect, I think this guy is kind of drafted a best case scenario world for us. I don't think that many players are going to go in round one that are going to be fantasy relevant, but it's fun to think about for sure. Jumping into round two, where the first offensive player is Chris Brazzell to the Raiders. The next offensive player is Eli Stowers to the Chiefs. Ooh, I kind of love that. Malachi Fields to the Saints. We also get Zachariah Branch to the Falcons. Is there another offensive player? Antonio Williams to the Eagles, which I'm very interested in if they move on from A.J. Brown. And Jadarian Price is the only running back in round two. He's the last pick in round two, and he goes to the Seattle Seahawks. So that would be interesting to see how that impacts today's draft. Okay, into round three, where we see Jeremy Bernard to the Commanders, Jacoby Lane to the Chiefs, Skylar Bell to the Dolphins, Deion Burks to the Steelers, Elijah Surratt to the Jaguars. Let's see, anybody else? We also get Chris Bell to the Rams, Max Clare to the Dolphins, Michael Trigg to the Patriots, Mike Washington to the Vikings, and that is our top three rounds. So that is the world we're going to live in. You might not like it. Don't blame me. It's not my world. I didn't make it up. This world was created by Bobby Bishop. Okay? So if you want to blame someone, blame Ricky Bobby here. But we have one spot remaining here in this rookie draft. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat here. I gave our Discord the first shot there, but we have one more spot. And once we fill that out, which we have, we're going to go ahead and start this bad boy. A 12-team Superflex 0.5 tight end premium rookie mock draft. Appreciate y'all again. Thanks for being here. Let me know who is in the chat. What's up, Smitty? Curly Kid is here. Where do I find the mock draft link? Yep, it's in our Discord, and then in the mock drafts tab of the Discord. A lot of people talking about how the Puka Nacua stuff is disturbing. Yeah, I agree. It's tough to look at. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to understand how that mark. I don't want to get into how I think that's possible because it's kind of disturbing to think about how that's possible. Ugh, I feel sick thinking about it. Anyway. But yeah, again, today's code word, funnily enough, is bite me. Okay. So if you want to get into today's, giveaway, we're giving away a live team playbook. All you have to do is like the stream and type bite me into the chat, and you will be automatically entered into today's giveaway. So we see Jeremiah Love going at the 101. Remember, he went to the Commanders. I think that's my favorite landing spot. If you guys had to choose a landing spot in the top 10, what's your favorite? Like, if you could just place him somewhere, I feel like the Commanders would be the best spot to just throw him in. Mendoza at the 102. Lemon at the 103. Remember, Lemon went to the Browns in the 6th overall spot. Tate went to the Giants in the 5th overall spot there. What do you guys think? CD says the Saints. You like the Saints? I don't like the Saints, CD. I'll be honest. With Devon... I almost said Devon Achane. With Travis Achane there. I don't love that spot all that much, to be honest. But sell me on it. Tell me why you love the spot. That's what I want to hear from you. Rick says, "Oh, I'm late. Was doom scrolling about Papa Snape." No, we're not doing this again. You're definitely making something up. From Monday's stream, I just know you guys are making stuff up when you're putting it in the chat. Okay? I don't trust any of you guys anymore. Cryptic likes the commies, but I'd love to see the Vikings find a way to trade up. Vikings would be awesome. Hard to see it happening, but yeah. What's up, Albert? Welcome in, my friend. So Jadarian Price cracks the top 5 in today's rookie mock draft. I have started to hear for the first time in recent weeks that there is some first round buzz. I don't understand it. I truly don't get why someone would draft Jadarian Price in the first round. That doesn't mean he's not a good player. Like, don't hear what I'm not saying. I think he's a good player. I just think people would regret making that selection in round 1 this year. Just a personal opinion. Mike says he doesn't like the Tyson landing spot. Remember, Tyson went to the Ravens here at pick 16. Honestly, though, like, I do think that Tyson could overtake Zay Flowers. I don't think this landing spot is a dead zone for Tyson. It would definitely concern me about Zay Flowers in the near future. Do you know what I mean? But look, round 2 hit rates on running backs are very good. Technically, Jadarian Price does sneak into round 2 at the last pick. Obviously, the running backs who are later in the second round have a worse hit rate than the guys who are, earlier in the second round. This is kind of more RJ Harvey range than it is like Henderson and Judkins range. All right, I'm on the clock here. I really have 2 options. I can draft Denzel Boston, who was the 16th pick to the Jets. Hate the landing spot. I mean, with Garrett Wilson there and having to rely on Geno Smith, I don't see a way where Boston drastically surges in value in 1 year. However, it's a super flex format. I've said this many times that if a weapon goes to Pittsburgh, and I'm thinking the same way about Pittman, I'm thinking the same way about Metcalf and Rico and all those guys, I think we have to view Pittsburgh differently now. It is not Arthur Smith calling the plays. It is not Mike Tomlin's team anymore. It's Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy has shown us year after year that he typically has some of the best offenses in the NFL. So I have a chance here to draft a quarterback who goes round 1. I'm doing it at the 110. And my pick is going to be Ty Simpson there. Ty Simpson, do I agree with Dan Orlovsky? You can look at our rookie report here, which is available on the Flock site, by the way. Do I agree that he's the quarterback 1 in the class? No, I'd still take Mendoza. But I think he's undervalued. I've said that a couple times. I think he has a shot to be a legitimate mid-level NFL starter. I truly think that's possible. Your Alex Smiths of the world. At worst, I think he's a backup that you can plug and play if injuries were to occur. But I definitely believe that Ty Simpson can be a good starting NFL quarterback. He is by far the best passer in the intermediate game in the class. Like, if you're looking for someone to kind of just pick apart the offense in the middle of the field, Ty Simpson's definitely the best at doing that in particular. So I'm not completely opposed to a Ty Simpson. Okay, that's round 1. Before we get into round 2, I want to hear from you guys. Who was the best pick and who was the worst pick in round 1? I want to hear from you. Who was the best? Who was the worst pick in round 1? We did have Jonah Coleman get drafted, and shockingly, he was omitted from this mock draft that Ricky Bobby made. That is actually kind of shocking. Ricky Bobby here had Mike Washington go in the 3rd. He did not put Jonah Coleman in the 3rd, though. I don't think Jonah Coleman was going round 2, but I thought Jonah Coleman would probably go before Mike Washington. Although I'm not obsessed with the profile, I do like the player. So, I mean, going by today's logic, Itty Bitty here at the 111 is drafting, at best, a round 4 running back. And I don't think that's a great bet to make. When you look at our historical hit rates, round 4 running backs have a huge drop-off from round 3. 18%. Round 3, about 49%. If you go to superstar status, it's even worse. Just 6% of round 4 running backs have had a top 12 point per game season in their first 4 years since 2014 in fantasy football. So that's a tough bet to make, man. That's a tough bet to make. But again, it just kind of shows the state of the class a little bit. Okay. Who was the best pick in round 1? Let's see. Let's hear from you guys. Rob says Jordan Tyson at 6. Killer Potato agrees. Cryptic says Stowers was the best pick. Remember, Stowers went to the Chiefs. That's a fun spot there in round 2. Mike says they all love his price pick. I don't think your pick is crazy, honestly. Like, I probably would have still taken Tyson over Price. But I believe if a running back goes in round 2, it probably extends that tier to the 106 for me. So I don't think you're crazy, Mike. I just think Tyson's a better prospect. Cryptic says worst pick was Price. Mills says Coleman was the worst pick. Tyson's still the draft. Josh says Coleman's his RB2. Which is fair, but at the same time, we're trying to live in this reality, right? And in this reality, I don't see how Coleman could be your RB2 if Price goes second round and Coleman doesn't even go in the third, you know? So a lot of opinions there in the chat, which it's great to see you guys here enjoying the mock. Okay, we're going to get into round 2 here. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Again, if you didn't hear, we are doing a giveaway today, okay? And the giveaway is for a live team playbook, my tier 1 product. And if you want to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is like the stream and then type "bite me" in the chat. That is today's code word. All one word, no spaces. Chase and Breaker says, take lock will kill you when reality of the draft hits. Yes. Have to be careful there. Historical hit rates are, they really don't miss much. Killer says, I'm close to extending my tier 2 to include Concepcion. Honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure if Concepcion goes round 1, guys, because the reports about that knee injury are a little concerning to me. Like, this would be best case scenario for him, wouldn't it? Like him going to the Dolphins would probably be best case scenario. Kind of an explosive weapon leaves in Jalen Waddle. You add an explosive weapon back with Casey Concepcion. So I could see that being a really exciting spot for people for sure. I do like the Stowers pick as well at the 112, by the way. Denzel Boston at the 201. So in this world, a first round receiver lands at the 201. That's pretty rare to see. Where did the quarterbacks go, Kyle? So we had Mendoza to the Raiders. We had Ty Simpson to the Steelers. And I don't think there was any other quarterback of note that went in this draft. If I'm not mistaken, you guys let me know if I missed one. Kyle says, a good rule of thumb is if you like a guy, always reach out. I don't know, Kyle. I think if you like a guy, you might be sometimes a little biased. I know this better than anyone. I've definitely been biased in the past with players that I've really liked. But I think the hit rates are really important to consider when you're doing these drafts, Let Go says, I'm a huge fan of Price, but the 105 is just too high. He just can't stomach the price of the 105, which is fair enough. I can see where you're coming from there. Forbes says Stowers is probably a better quarterback than Fields. So maybe, and that's true. Stowers is a former quarterback, if you guys don't know. So maybe they're not only bringing in Stowers here to Kansas City to play tight end, which, by the way, You draft Stowers to be a weapon. I love me some Eli Stowers. I'm a huge fan of him. You draft him to be a weapon on your team. And he's going to be a mismatch. He's a player I really enjoyed watching. Not a great blocker. There's no doubt about that. There's a reason he graded out really poorly as a blocker. It's just not a strength of his. But you draft him to be an offensive weapon. Could the Chiefs be drafting him to also be a backup quarterback? You know what I mean? Maybe. Okay, so a lot has happened here. Mike Washington at the 203. We've got Jacoby Lane, Antonio Williams, and Jeremy Bernard off the board. I am up on the clock here very soon, so I need to look at my options here. Let's see. Brazel's gone. Stowers is gone. There's a receiver available that I'm not a big fan of, but he's a top 50 pick. Ugh. I like the Antonio Williams pick there. I mean, this in a sense, this mock draft is good because I think it probably fits the reality of what the running back class will look like. I don't think we'll get many running backs all that high, unfortunately. I'm probably going to have to take a my guy here. I'm probably going to have to take a my guy with my next pick. Unless someone else does it. All right, let's catch up with the chat here. Cryptic, Rick loves your draft so far. Dr. Python says Sadiq is the best pick of the first with the tight end premium and the fact that he's a first round capital. Yeah, he could have a lot of success for sure. Killer says it's important to consider hit rates, but I'd also rather die with my take than consensus takes. I think you can mix both, though. You can be higher on a name, you know what I mean, and still adjust to historical hit rates. I think that's possible. Okay, well, that sucks. Those were the two players I was about to draft. I had two guys lined up, and those were both of them. Well, I need to switch it up a little bit. Okay. Let's think this through logically. Yeah. So there's a receiver in round 3 that I like more, but the hit rates are pretty damning between those two. And there's a receiver I really don't like that's available. He went top 50 overall. Just 2 picks in between Stowers and Malachi Fields. Malachi Fields here is an early second round pick. Maybe this is a plus on what Devon Vele was giving you. Clearly never going to take over the alpha role from Olave as far as like target share goes. But I'm going to draft Malachi Fields here, unfortunately. I can tell most of us aren't big fans of the player because he fell to the 210, but I'll take a shot on him there. I think he was the last or second round player available. I agree, Riggs. Like the Chiefs re-signing Kelsey, definitely frustrating. I wanted to kind of finally see what that offense will look like post Kelsey. I just think we're going to get another really bad version of him. He's not the same player at all. And it's just going to muddy the waters a little bit. Like, I want to see what the offense looks like past him. What weapons are they going to focus on? Is there another tight end that can break out? I just feel like, as someone, you know, who cheers for the Chiefs as well, I just want him to move on at this point. Unless he's going into like a mentor role, because there's not much he can really offer from an explosive perspective at this point. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Reverse, this is a common question I get a lot, my friend. You know, do I take Taysom? Do I do I take Tyson? Do I take Tate? Do I take Lemon? I love all of these players. They're very different prospects. And it's going to come down to the NFL draft. I can't give you a good answer right now. You know, I just can't give you a good answer right here, right now. We've got to wait until the NFL draft. What's up, Ishmael? Welcome in. Matt says, would you trade Cam Scottaboo in the 107 for CeeDee Lamb? Yeah, I would do that for sure. Emmett Johnson off the board. In this world we're living in, he was not drafted, just like Jonah Coleman. So you're making a bet on a round 4 running back there. Which, honestly, a round 4 running back is a better bet to make than a round 4 receiver. So I understand why people would take that shot. Chase and Breaker says, takes are fine to follow within a tier, but ignoring hit rates is like sitting down at a blackjack table and ignoring the book. You might hit a winner, but you're shifting the odds against yourself. Exactly. I think that's a good way to put it, Chasing. I think that's a good way to put it. What's up, Scribbles? Welcome in. Welcome in. We get Max Clare off the board. I am a big fan of Max Clare personally. I think he's in general, guys, I feel like the tight end class is under-discussed this year. I think it's a better tight end class than a lot of people give it credit for. Obviously, we all know Sadiq, but Stowers is a really good prospect in my opinion. Max Clare is a really good prospect as well. I love Justin Jolly. Like maybe the next, I compared him to Delaney Walker a little bit. If that might be too big of a callback. Some of you might be too young. Some of you might be old heads, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying there. I think he can be a Delaney Walker type of player. Michael Trigg, if you're looking for the next Isaiah Likely, I actually think he could go to Baltimore and kind of replace that Likely role. And Jack Andrews as well is a good player. There's a lot of good tight end prospects, man. And I think I'll be taking a lot of shots on them in the late second, early third this year. So I like it. Claire. Where did Claire go? Let's remind ourselves here. Claire went to the Dolphins at pick 94. And then right after that, we've got Michael Trigg to the Patriots. What do you mean by that, Forbes? Trigg wears cement shoes. Like, are you saying his like he's got slow feet? I like Michael Trigg. I'll tell you all why I like him, but okay. Should we get another mock draft going? Do you guys want to jump into another one? I can get another one fired up here for us. Eli Heidenreich off the board. At this point, you just got to kind of take your guys because there's not a lot of players that are available. And I'm going to keep shouting this guy's name from the rooftop. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why there is not more Terrion Stewart hype. I genuinely don't get it. Okay, I guess I'm being a little dramatic. Like, I do understand because he didn't score a single touchdown this year. It's like, in that sense, I get it, guys. But Terrion Stewart's my RB6 right now. He didn't have a rushing touchdown. Unfortunate. Only 82 attempts. But he's just such a fun player, dude. I love Terrion Stewart. In my latest rookie report, I wrote up a summary of him, which I can read to you guys. I wrote up summaries for all the running backs. In future versions, we will have write-ups for all players. I'm working through that right now. But I'm not AIing this stuff, guys. Like, I'm writing this all on my own. So Right now, we have write-ups for all the running backs, some of the receivers. Eventually, every player will have a summary write-up. But this is what I wrote. Terrion Stewart, by far my favorite sleeper in this class. A bowling ball with a V8 engine. He said, Zach, just in one sentence, one expression, how would you describe on him? How would you describe him? A bowling ball with a V8 engine. That's how I would describe Terrion Stewart. And it's funny, like, in this class in particular, which I have said for more than a year now, this is not like just jumping on the bandwagon. The running back class sucks. It's not a good running back class. You're going to hear people try and hype up these names for content's sake, for likes, for clicks, for impressions. It's just not a good running back class. I don't understand why this guy's not getting more hype. I don't get it. There's so many spreadsheet people out there. This guy jumps off the freaking page, man. Okay, I'll keep going. Bowling ball with a V8 engine. His contact balance is insane. A career, not a single season, guys. A career missed tackles forced per attempt of 0.47. Like, does anyone understand how insane that is? It's just absurd. Like, Genty's best year was 2025, and it was 0.4 missed tackles forced per attempt. He had a career missed tackles forced per attempt of 0.47. No one in this class turns lemons into lemonade like he does. He's short and stacked with compacted strength, a low center of gravity that is hard to bring down. It's not just mass, it's density. Problem is, obviously, the red flags are there. Like, there's not a lot of production this year. He's not got a lot of receiving production. My favorite comp for him is like Chris Carson. If you guys remember Chris Carson, and I use that comp very specifically because Carson was drafted very late and he became a productive receiver. I don't think like Maurice Jones-Drew is a helpful comp because he was a really good prospect coming out and people had high expectations. I think Chris Carson's a great prospect. My comp for him as a floor is Khalil Herbert, in the sense of like he can be a late round pick that I could see being a starting first and second down guy. Like, if anybody gets Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt hype, I think Terrion Stewart could be that name this year. I also made that case for Kyle Monangai last year, and if you guys remember our alpha rookie draft. But I just think he's under discussed. I haven't heard a single mainstream person mention this name. I'm not even seeing many like dynasty people mention his name, which is shocking because I just feel like people would be really excited about this guy if they're spreadsheet guys. But let's look at our Limits Lemonade report. One last thing I'll say on him, okay? Limits Lemonade report. Limits Lemonade is a simple metric that shows how good a running back is at creating something out of nothing. It blends three key efficiency numbers, right? Yards after contact per attempt, missed tackles forced, and missed tackles forced per attempt. That's weighted at a 40-20-40 scale. Okay? And I haven't yet put all the previous classes into the Limits Lemonade report as like a combined network. But he would be by far he would have by far the highest grade of any running back in the Limits Lemonade report in the past 4 or 5 years. Like, I feel confident, even with the names of like Henderson, Judkins, Hampton, Genty, put Bijan in there as well. Like, he would have the best number by far. 0.48 missed tackles forced per attempt last year. And this only considers their last year in college. But I mean, he's running laps around everybody. So, but we've looked a lot at our rookie report today. A lot of people are asking, how can they find this on the site? If you go to posts, you'll see our rookie report here. Version 2 is the latest version. You can just click view here. Best viewed on a desktop, but you can view it on mobile as well. So, if anything, hopefully, you guys enjoyed me kind of diving into one of my favorite sleepers in the class. And maybe now that I'm talking about him, he won't be a sleeper anymore. Maybe he'll be talked about a lot more. I don't know. But I think he deserves more love. I really do. I'm going to jump into this mock draft at the 5 spot. And I'm going to put this link here in the mock draft tabs of the Discord. So if you guys want to join, that link is there now. I've given first rights to our Discord community, and now I will just paste that into the YouTube chat as well. So let's go ahead and fill up this mock draft and do one more. Let's hear what the chat has to say. What do you guys have to say about Terrion Stewart while we're waiting on this next one to fill? I mean, look, to me, outside of like the top 3 being Love, Price, Coleman, I just do not care about many running backs in this class really at all. And certainly after those guys, it's just a pick your poison draft for me. I really don't think many of these guys are going to make a big impact in the league. So I think you've got to find a reason to be excited about some of these prospects. And Terrion's one of those guys that I'm excited about. Killer says, I've literally never heard of him before now. Okay. That's good to hear. I like the Ravens as a fit, Mills. I think that could make a lot of sense, especially with them moving on from you know who I'm trying to talk about, Keaton Mitchell. He's not the same player as Keaton Mitchell at all. He's much more a Manon guy, I would say. What's up, Matthew? Welcome in. Matthew and Bree. Might be onto something here. Maybe. Mill says, I think we are seeing how the feels NFL maybe feels about this running back class 2 with some of these bum signings. Yeah. Scribble says Singleton over Jeremiah Love. McGowan is not in the guide yet. I don't have a profile on McGowan. But soon he will be McGowan into the draft guide soon. He's more on our players to monitor side of things right now, rather than a name we're heavily looking at. So yeah, I wouldn't say just yet I'm too focused on him, but I do have Seth McGowan on my radar as, you know, like a name that I need to be aware of. So, all right, we got 1 spot remaining in this rookie draft. Would love for you guys to come join me. This is going to be a 30-seconder, okay? So this is going to go quicker, but want to give more people a shot to draft with us. So let's go ahead and start that bad boy off here. As Jeremiah Love comes off the board at the 101. Carnell Tate at the 102. Tiptoe says, I feel like outside of Love, all those other running backs have a good chance to be RB2 in this class. Yeah. Most people are kind of sold on it having to be Jadarian Price. I wouldn't put myself in that category. Price is probably the RB2, but I'm very open to that being a different name as well. I'm not too hung up on it having to be Jadarian Price personally. Okay, so Tate, Lemon, and Mendoza come off the board. Remember earlier I told you guys last draft I would still take Tyson over Price, but it's very close. And Mike, who took Price last round, maybe, or was it someone else? Did Mike not take Price last round? I don't know. Hard to say. Cryptic says, Allen is that running back for me, but I need to look more into this Stewart kid. I like Katron Allen. Katron Allen concerns me the same way that like an Audric Estime concerned me going from the collegiate level to the NFL. Where, same thing with even Braylon Allen. Like, I was notoriously low on Allen and Audric Estime. And I remember people being so upset about the Estime thing because he was coming off like a 1,700 rushing yard season or something. And I just felt there's just a certain profile that can succeed in college, but probably mightily struggles in the NFL. I could be completely wrong, but I would probably put Katron in that category. Just this bigger body, successful in the NFL, but very little wiggle, very little burst, elusiveness in the open field. I really think best case scenario for Katron is kind of like a Brian Robinson, where let's say Katron goes to the Seahawks. He could have a stint there where he's like the starter. But I don't think he would. I think we're all in agreement, like outside of Jeremiah Love, none of these guys are probably like transformational dynasty running backs, right? And he would fall into that category. We get Sadiq off the board. Concepcion Surratt. Can't be going round 3 receiver in round 1, but I do love Elijah Surratt. Jadarian Price off the board there at the 109. Eli Stowers at the 110. I think Price is a pretty good value in this draft. Boston off the board. Coleman, Simpson, Mike Washington. Simpson's one hell of a value there, Mills. Well done. That's a great pick, in my opinion. We'll take Chris Bell here, who went to the Rams in round 2. Matthew says, am I crazy to take Sadiq at the 102 in a full point premium? I don't think I could do it, Matthew. I think I would rather trade that pick for a tight end I already believe in. I'm not anti-Sadiq at all. Like, let me be very clear, guys. I'm not anti-Kenyon Sadiq. He's going to be my tight end 1. I'm assuming he's going to go top 20 in the NFL draft. I don't think Sadiq... Okay, how do I say this? Well, if you put Sadiq in last year's class, he is not in the same tier for me as a Colson Loveland and a Tyler Warren. He would be in a separate tier for sure. And how do I say this? Like, we all already should have known that he was a freak athlete. You know, he was on the freaks list from The Athletic. He looked like an absolute monster. I mean, just look at the guy. It's like a DK Metcalf picture. But I just think for fantasy purposes, him being an elusive weapon, I don't think he's actually that good after the catch. Like, we're all kind of pinning him as like this really good yak threat. I don't know that the film really aligns with that. Like, I think there are a lot more red flags on him than people are really willing to admit. And I'm sorry if that's upsetting. I'm not trying to upset anybody. But, like, I just don't believe he's some transformational yak threat like a lot of people do. And I also think he's not the most natural pass catcher. There's a lot of growth that's still going to need to happen for him. Now, he's a great athlete, so all those things should follow. But the route running, I think, needs refinement. The ball skills, a little bit up in the air. I mean, a 13% drop rate. And it was noticeable. Sometimes there's like those bricky hands a little bit. And I think that the yak is a little bit underwhelming, in my opinion. So I would not take him at the 102 in a full point premium. I would rather send that pick away to try and kind of like guarantee a tight end that I think is worthy of that value. Does that make sense? Okay. Someone in the chat asked me a question. And they said, who's your sleeper tight end for the class? Well, I just spent some time hyping up Terrion Stewart. I'm not going to have the same fervor hyping up this tight end, but to me, that is Justin Jolly. I love watching Justin Jolly, y'all. He's a fun watch out of NC State. I mean, in my opinion, has the best ball skills of any tight end in the class. Super reliable, natural hands catcher. I mean, again, if you want to look at the difference between what I perceive as like someone who's got great ball skills, naturally kind of fits that tag versus someone who's going to have to grow into it, then watch Kenyon Sadiq and then go watch Justin Jolly. I think you're going to see what I'm mentioning there with their different characteristics and strengths and weaknesses. He's got the one-handers. He's got the through contact contested catches. In the last 3 seasons, Justin Jolly has caught 32 of 46 contested catch opportunities. That's like, what? He has a 70% contested catch rate in the last 3 seasons on high volume. Stupid. Accounted for about 20% of NC State's receiving offense in 2025. Really good versus zone coverage. Really good after the catch as well. Like, he has a lot more wiggle and make you miss and yak appeal to me than even a Sadiq has. Great, like wingspan, arm size, hand size. No, it's not got like the long run speed of some of the other guys in this class. Like, I don't think he tested. I don't think we've seen him at the pro day yet, but he's not going to be like a 4.4 40-yard dash guy. Like that's just not going to happen. Not the best blocker. There's a lot of these profiles this year at tight end where they are receiving threats, but they're probably not going to be like the best blocker. I think he fits that. Again, if you know Delaney Walker, like if you have played fantasy for a long time and you know like the Delaney Walkers of the world, I think that's what he could potentially become. So, yeah, a player I like. I could see him with the Panthers. I could see him with the Texans if the Texans want to move on from Dalton Schultz eventually. But obviously the floor is like a Brevin Jordan. Like Brevin Jordan had plenty of upside coming out as well out of Miami, and he didn't really turn into anything. So yeah, that would be my favorite sleeper in the class. But Matthew, does that make sense what I had to say about Sadiq? I'm not trying to be like the contrarian here. I'm just trying to be honest when we talk about these players. And that's my honest take. You know? But Matthew says if he goes to the Chiefs and Kelsey is Kelsey's successor, it would be hard not to. I would still just say trade that 102 for a tight end you already love. Like, can you not trade that 102 for a Tucker Kraft in your world? Or a... Can you get a Tyler Warren if you know, if you can add something onto it? So, yeah. I'm not a big fan of Oscar Delp, to be honest, guys. I haven't been able to scout him fully just yet, so I'll reserve judgment for when I finish scouting him fully. But from what I saw, wasn't the biggest fan as far as like, again, I'm projecting these guys to be fantasy relevant assets. And that's really the question I think you're probably wanting to get out of me. I don't know how relevant he could actually be. But guys, I appreciate y'all being here today. Last chance to get into today's giveaway for a live team playbook. All you have to do to enter is simply like the stream, type today's code word, which is bite me. Once you've done those 2 things, you will be entered into today's giveaway. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity here to jump in. We've got some team reviews to do. We've got some trade questions to answer on the Flock site. One thing I want to mention, and we've got some calls here that have come in, which I'm going to answer, is that on tomorrow night's stream, we are going to be raffling off the spots for the Athena League. This is not going to be an auction draft. Okay, we're going to do a regular startup mock draft. And if you want to enter and to be a part of those leagues, then the steps are very simple. Have to be an annual Mother Flocker member with the code LAND. Okay, once you do that, sync your Discord. You'll unlock the LAN Leagues tab in our Discord. Fill out the latest form. And if you're a brand new member, let me know once you do, because I will happily fast track you and guarantee you a spot into this league tomorrow. Okay. So, and I'll also just tag our members now and just say, raffling off spots for Athena League tomorrow night around this time. Form above to enter. I've got an exciting new way for you guys to enter leagues I'm going to release next week. All right. Another big part of being an annual Mother Flock member with the code LAND, outside of getting like the team playbook, the vouchers, the war room, the hotline, all that, is getting unlimited access to our Discord. And one of the cool features that I like doing on our Discord is the call. The call is basically like a hotline where you can jump in and kind of like call into the show. So I want to hear from Dan B here. What's up, Dan B? Let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear from him.
Hey Zach, what's up? What is the best etiquette for league managers that don't respond to messages or trades? Guys that typically don't answer DMs. How do you improve your team if you can't make a deal with any of these guys?
Yeah.
Or no one in the league is active enough to want to make a deal. Thanks, man.
That's a tough question, and I think it really depends on what type of league you're in. What do I mean when I say that? So, if you're in a league that is a bunch of randoms and you don't have a connection with them, and there's no community to like kind of like collectively say, "Hey, where's this guy at?" then that's just going to happen. To be honest, Dan, like that, what you're describing is going to happen. Like, let's just be honest. That's a reality. Hopefully, you're a part of a league that we run where there are a lot of active members. People really care about these leagues. But that's just going to be a reality for some people. Like, some people are living life and, it takes a while for them to wake up. But if you're referring to a league that is like a home league, like a home dynasty league, then you need to have a real conversation with them if they care enough. And sometimes your friends don't care enough to be a part of a dynasty league. Sometimes they only care enough to be a part of a redraft league. So, I would say the other incentive that you can drop on people, which people might not like, is like an activity incentive, where if you're active and you contribute to the chat once per month, you get an additional $5 of fab each month or something. There are small little things that you can do, but it's going to be a reality, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So that's just the reality of the scenario. Yes, this is a live show, Adam. Okay, let's go ahead and let's hear from Rocket here. Again, love hearing from you guys to call into the show. Just make sure you sync up your Discord if you're a LAND annual Motherflocker member. And I love to hear from you guys as often as you want to submit ideas here or questions. I love to hear from you. Let's hear from Rocket.
Hey Zach, how worried should we be about Puka Nakua's recent behavior?
Okay. This is a really good question. How worried should we be about Puka Nakua's recent behavior? Okay, let's not get into the ethics of it all, because I think we all agree that if this is true, biting any human being for any reason is wrong. Right? It's just not right. Certainly don't want to do that to a woman. What I will say is a little peek behind the curtain. My video editor is awesome, and he was present for the Pro Bowl this year. And one thing that he said to me, a little bit unprompted, was like, hey, Puka Nacua was a little strange at the Pro Bowl. Like, it felt like people around him were... He didn't say this exactly, but I kind of got the sense that what he was trying to say is like, it was almost like he was being babysat a little bit. And I am starting to get a little concerned because the off-field stuff is starting to pile up a little bit. However, as of today, there is no reason to believe that the Rams or the NFL are going to take significant action against something like this. I know that sounds harsh, but, it's just typically if a really good player is a part of a really good team and they have a really good lawyer, there's not going to be many repercussions. I mean, let me remind you guys that Alvin Kamara was on camera beating up a guy at a club. And what did he get? Like a game or two? So I am hoping that Puka Nacua is going to have people in his corner that can give a reality check to him. You know what I mean? But I can't guarantee that. So how do we kind of play this Puka Nacua situation? I don't think it changes much for me. I'm not willing to move him down my rankings because of this. What I would say is if you can find a way to pivot to that same tier, then, you know, you do it. If you can pivot to a JSN, a Chase, you probably want to look at doing that. If you can get to a Justin Jefferson in a first, a Lamb in a first, you can consider doing that. But overall, I would say patience is probably the best route forward for the Puka Nacua situation. Might not be what you want to hear, but yeah, it's just the reality of the situation. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, let's do this giveaway. Let's go ahead and do this giveaway. We've got 40 entries for today's giveaway for our live team playbook. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel here. 40 entries. And this is to win a live team playbook. Good luck to everybody. Okay, here we go. Our winner today is going to be Joe Dav 2. Is Joe Dav 2 in the chat? If you see this now or later, my friend, all you need to do is simply DM me on Discord. There's my username. Send me a screenshot of your YouTube account and tell me your Flock Fantasy username, and I will go ahead and hook you up with a free team playbook. I appreciate you being a part of the community, my friend. Okay, let's jump into some trade questions, and then we've got some team reviews to do today. Of course, the queue is available. If you'd like to get a team review tonight on the same stream, you can go ahead and get your team reviews in, whether you want to become an annual Mother Flocker member or just buy one a la carte. Let's go to R. Blaze, who has a trade question. Just Blaze? Okay. This is a 10-team, start 10, Superflex League. He would be sending away a 27 first for Jonathan Taylor. So, your start 10, if you made this trade, would be Hurts, and then Herbert or Dak. You would start Taylor and Hampton, then CD and Jefferson. At tight end, you would start McBride. That is 7. You'd have 3 more flex spots. And with those 3 flex spots, you would fill Nico, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams. On your bench, you would have Metcalf, Pittman, Gadsden, Montgomery, Swift. You're clearly a contending team. I don't see why you wouldn't be okay with this. You know? Would I prefer that first to be a Hampton? Yeah, sure. Of course I would. Would I prefer that first to... I don't know. Would I prefer to buy Devon Achane? Yeah, I would prefer to buy Devon Achane. But that's probably a late first rounder. I can't promise you that JT... just know this, Blaze. JT is going to regress this year. It's like almost a guaranteer, right? So he's going to regress this year. But you are a team that is probably one move away from really from contending. It looks like you have multiple firsts anyway. I don't have a problem taking the JT side of this deal and just kind of committing to try and win this year. That's the goal, isn't it? Okay. Again, in these team reviews, I'll be going back and forth between trade questions and reviews. So you can feel free to submit a trade question. It's the same link in the pinned comment. But Mac Money here. He is sending away Jones, Henderson, Nacua for the 101, 103, and the 105. Okay, wow. Wow. This is crazy. Let's go to a poll. Let's break this down just how my mind would break this down. Okay. If I were to sell Puka Nacua, I would need more than the 101. I think I would probably need at minimum 101 in the 105 at minimum. Maybe more. And keeping in mind that if you do this trade, you would lose Jones, Henderson, Puka. So that would mean your starting lineup would be Daniels, Malik, Walker, Jeremiah Love, let's say, Jason, Marvin, I guess Andrews. Your team, I don't know. Your team isn't bad right now, honestly. Like right now, if you were starting Daniels and Malik and you had Jones as your quarterback 3, then your running back room would be Walker, Henderson. Your RB3 is very weak there. I'll give you that. It's a very weak RB3. But you would start JSN and Puka. Your tight end would be Andrews. That makes 7. Right? So then you would be flexing Marvin. Okay. Your flexes are pretty weak if you were not to do a trade like this. This is a toughie. This is a genuine toughie. Okay. I can see why you think you're a little bit short to fill out those flex spots. I do think you can tear down from a JSN or a Puka. Let's just break this down from a value perspective. If I were to sell Puka Nacua, and this is the package on the table, I would at minimum need like the 101 and the 105 at minimum to meet the Puka value. Just at minimum. I don't even know if that's enough. I might need more. Okay. So then the question is the 103 worth Henderson and Jones? It's close. It's close. I would counter this. They have the 102 and the 104. I would counter this by removing the 104, adding the 102. Do they accept that? If they don't accept that, then I want to counter by removing the 105 and adding the 104. If they don't accept that, then I would like to counter by adding probably like the 106 here. My gosh, how many draft picks do they have? Yeah, if they don't agree to that, I want to add the 106, and I'll send back like a Charbonnet. If not Charbonnet, I would send back a Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, Tua, right? So I'm close, right? I'm on the edge. I just need you to help me finish. I heard it. I heard it. Okay, we all heard it. And it's okay. And we're going to move on. So that would be my response, Mac Money. Okay, we're going to move on. Jay Willie here. It's a Superflex 8-team start 13. I think we looked at their team recently. They would be receiving Jackson Smith and Jigba for the 102, 104, and Tucker Kraft. I believe because of how small this league is, I'm probably going to do this. But let me remind myself. If you make this move, you are starting Lamar and Caleb. Okay, starting Lamar and Caleb or Lamar and Burrow, either way. Then you've got Taylor and Walker. Then you're starting JSN Egbuka. At tight end, you are starting, I don't know. Losing Kraft is tough here. I'm looking at the chat. Okay, so Jackson Burrow, Taylor Walker, Jason Ibuka. Let's say likely for now. That's 6. That's only... No, Zach math. That's 7. Sorry. That's 7. So you need to start 6 more. And if you did this trade, you would be starting a Dunze, Burden, Etienne. I don't know, dude. I don't think you have the depth for this. You would still be 2 flex spots short. Do you know what I mean? Like every week you are flexing Pearsall, Diggs, Connor, Pacheco. I don't know if you can bank on that. Sorry, he also has Jeremiah Love. Okay. Interesting. I do just think because it's a start 13, you need to consider depth. I want to make this move, but I don't want to send Kraft. I'll send instead Likely. And on top of Likely, you don't have any seconds. I'm going to say let's send a second. Can we send Bryce Young? Can we send Bryce Young and Likely instead? You know, is that possible? Do they perceive a big drop down from Hurts to Burrow? Well, let's do that instead then. So there's a couple counters there that I would be willing to do. But overall, because it's an 8-team league, I don't think it's that crazy. I'm definitely okay with the formation of the idea. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Killa says, seems like everything on the Flock site besides is working besides the advice tab. I sent it in a team review and it just crashed. Okay. If you ever have any issues, guys, on the Flock site, always go to the site issues tab. Can you post about that here? The site issues tab is where our dev team lives. So if there's ever an issue with the site, they can try and sort it out here for you. But is anyone having any trouble submitting like a team review or a trade question right now? Let me know. Okay, Set says, competing team, is this enough value for the 101? He would send away the 101 for the 108 in Hampton. No, not for me. I don't think so. Just the 108 is not that appealing to me. Maybe in other years it would have been appealing enough, but I like Hampton. This is not appealing enough for me. I need that 27 first at minimum. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just think the deals I've seen Jeremiah Love go for have been so large. I would not be willing to get this little value back. Yeah. So I'm not opposed to like this type of idea, but you need more in return. I would demand their first in 27, to be honest. At minimum, if not, I mean, I might even want like their 27 first, and like there are leagues out there where you can get this return, Hampton to 27 first in the 108. I don't think it's reasonable, but there are leagues out there where like that's happening, so just be aware of that. But can you add a Monangai on top of this? Can you add a Hubbard? Can you add a Watson? Can you add the 206, a 27 second? You know, I don't think it's enough for the 101 personally. Another trade question here from Dan. What's up, Dan? This is a Dynasty Superflex 12-team start 11. By the way, guys, tomorrow I think I'm going to do another auction startup mock draft. Would you guys be interested in that? If on tomorrow's stream we do an auction mock draft again? We did one last week for the first time. I had a ton of fun, and I'm learning a lot. But I think I want to do it again because I was so bad at doing it last week. Should we do another auction mock draft on tomorrow's stream? Yes, no, do a normal one. I had a lot of fun doing it. I want to hear from you guys, though. Okay, Dan. Superflex, 12-team start 11, a big league, a big premium on tight end, and a premium for running backs. He will be sending away Stafford, Rodgers, and Gibbs to get back a second Knicks, Pickens, and Flowers. Okay, let's really break down this trade. No disrespect to Stafford, he doesn't matter in a trade of this magnitude, and certainly Aaron Rodgers doesn't. Neither does that 27 second round pick. This is a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Running backs get 0.25 points per carry. So Gibbs is going to be more valuable in this format than even a normal format. If you made this move, you would be starting May Stafford. Or sorry, May Knicks. May Knicks. At running back, you'd be starting Chase Brown Judkins. I hate your running back room after that. Your running back room falls off drastically after that, man. At receiver, you'd be starting Pickens, Flowers, I guess, yeah, Andrews. And then you still have 4 spots you need to fill, which would be Terry, Pittman, Myers. I don't know, man. Like, Dan, are you in the chat? Are you wanting to do this and tear off of Gibbs to compete? Or are you wanting to do this to try and punt this year? Because if you're trying to punt this year, I'm not a huge fan of the return. Like, if you're trying to punt this year, I would much rather I'd much rather like get rid of a Flowers and add a 27 first if they have it, which they don't. So maybe that's not why you're not including first rounders. But you need an Olave back, I think. And we don't even need that second round pick, but like we can get rid of the second round pick, but give me Olave. I feel better about it then. Because in your league, running backs are more valuable than normal. And Gibbs is already one of the most valuable assets in Dynasty. If you're trying to compete, then I would rather get Etienne back. And I would rather get rid of that second round pick that they're offering you and get like a Wan'Dale Robinson or something. But I'm not really obsessed with this team. He says, not competing. You did my review Monday. Just took over this orphan. Okay. Yeah. I don't think this is the one. I don't think this is the one, Dan. Like, you can counter with this Pickens, Olave, Knicks idea, but I don't think this is the deal that you're going to accept. Because as a rebuilder, number one, Stafford and Rodgers are going to be impossible to sell for anything that's worth your time. Number two, Gibbs is super valuable. And number three, you want to be as bad of a team as you can possibly be. By adding Knicks, Pickens, and Olave, you're adding a ton of points to your team if the draft order is determined by reverse max points for. And I just feel like if you're selling Gibbs as a punter, you need draft capital to be a really important part of that type of negotiation, right? It needs to be, sure, get Pickens or get Olave, but you need to get back multiple future first round picks. Like Olave and 2 to 3 first round picks value of draft capital, right? Because that value will not change. Those assets will not decline in value at all, but they won't score points for your team. So I don't think this is the format that you should pursue if you were to trade away a Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, those are all the trade questions for now. I will pop back and forth between trades as they happen. So I'll keep that in mind, that as the trades happen, as they come in, I will pop back and forth in between those as I do these team reviews as well. Like I said earlier, if you want to get your team review tonight, it's a great night to do so. Currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reviews in queue. Let's jump to the first review. Let me double check there's no priority passes or pro passes here. Okay, we're good. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything on the back end. Okay. Okay, let's go to Chasing Breakers. What's up, Chasing Breakers? Let me know if you're in the chat, my friend. We are looking at your squad. This is a Dynasty Superflex 12-team start 10 with a full point premium. So that is our middle ground. Oh, yeah, you're in the chat, obviously. What up, brother? Welcome in. He says, full point Titan premium. Team was dragged down by injuries in Jefferson last year. Traded Kittle for the 109 in season, then flipped that for ETN before free agency. Nice. Looking to possibly move a quarterback and use a 204 for a tier up or a veteran piece. You're currently ranked 4th overall in this league. And at quarterback, the site's got you at 8th. At running back, they've got you at 3. 2nd at receiver, and 5th at tight end. Okay, so we are starting Dart, Mayfield, Hampton, Walker, Neighbors, Jefferson, Fannin. That's a really strong 7 to begin. You have 3 flexes that will be filled with Nico, Etienne, and then I don't know what that last flex spot would be. Maybe you're thinking about that as well. McMillan, Washington, Jones, Gainwell. Can any of those guys fill the gap? That's a question we don't know the answer to right now. Okay, it's a good team. You do not have a first round pick this year. You do have your firsts in future seasons. So I am going to note that when I'm reviewing, grading out your team. Draft capital grade, I'd give you a B minus. Actually, probably a C plus. You don't have a first this year. Overall team grade as of today. This is a good team. It's just missing a little bit of depth, but I think this is a solid. I was right in between like B, B plus, B minus, like somewhere in that B range for sure. I'll go a solid B. And then I think right now you're probably a sleeper. You need maybe to make one move to really put yourself in range there to really make some noise here. Right, Strange, you could flex with the full point premium, okay, and maybe Hawkinson returns to form. Untouchables on this team will be Neighbors and Hampton. As far as holds go, I would definitely hold Jalen McMillan. Maybe he can develop into that flex option for you. Same thing for like a Gainwell. Strange. Malik Washington. After the Jalen Waddle trade, I think they're going to draft a receiver in round 1, but worth holding on to. You can probably drop Devin Singletary at this point, my man. And Cam Miller. I just don't see a reason that those guys need to be rostered. On your waiver wire, the only name that really stood out to me was George Halani. Just because if the Seahawks don't draft the running back, then, you know, he could potentially have a significant role. I'm not going to say he's going to be like a league winner or anything, but he could have a significant role. Yeah, I like that. With your draft picks, look, I'll be honest with you, they're probably gonna not gonna make like a significant impact on your offseason. This year, more than any years, these late draft picks, people are just not really that interested from my experience. At least I can only speak to like the way my league perceives things right now. Let me know in the chat if you guys have a different opinion there, if, you know, based on your leagues. But the way my leagues are currently valuing them, it's kind of like they almost have the plague. It's like, oh, you want to send me a second-round pick in 2026? I am not interested at all whatsoever. But we are still going to jump into the war room, and we'll have a look at these picks. In that early second, like that 204 range, right now, like it seems to be changing pretty consistently. But I could see like a Claiborne, a Katrin Allen maybe, a Branch, a Skylar Bell, Jeremy Bernard. That's kind of that range. And sure, you could keep the pick and hope that you hit on a player. I don't know who to say with those later picks, but if you can trade any of these third and fourths for future equivalent picks, then I think it's worth your time. But what I wanted to say here is that 204, I think, is a great spot to go out and try and get a vet running back or wide receiver to kind of help those flex spots fill out a little bit more. You know, names that come to mind instantly. I don't think you can get Mike Evans as cheap, but you might be able to package some of those third and fourths to get into the Mike Evans range. I would say the same thing for like a Devontae Adams. You could probably buy a Terry McLaurin at that price point. He's probably more realistic. A Cortland Sutton, a J.K. Dobbins, a Tyler Algier, right? Like those are the type of names I think, and I don't really mind which position it's at. You honestly kind of need help at both positions there at flex, but I think those are some players that could definitely fit what you need to go out there and kind of compete this year. Give you a little more flexibility. And that's the game plan I would have for your rookie draft there with the war room. You've got a question in the chat there, so let me address that before we go to the chalkboard. He says, I'm thinking about trying to sell those picks for production. Pittman, okay. Breaker says, I also floated trading Dart for Achane and just riding Jones and Brissett this year. Right, so going like Mayfield, Jones, Brissett. That just scares me with your quarterback room, man. Excuse my burp there. But my concern is like we look at Brissett right now and we think to ourselves, well, he averaged, what was it, like 18 points per game as a Cardinal starter. The problem is he didn't win really any games. And what do you expect the Cardinals to do this year? Are they going to be a good team? Probably not. So if they start off like 2-5, do you think Brissett keeps the job? Do they let Gardner Minshew have a go? I just don't think Brissett is really as safe as you might think he is. And that concerns me for you being a competing team, you know. And I think Dart could really increase his value. So I don't know that I love that in particular. But like we said, we have the 204 to play around with. We have the 304, 307, the 404. I don't see you being able to like tear down from Jefferson or Neighbors right now. You could try a Neighbors tear down. I might be more interested in seeing what Mayfield could get you. Like, what could Baker Mayfield get you instead, maybe? So, and I think you need to be careful about bundling because you don't have the best depth. And we have to assume that some injuries can occur. So, yeah. So, let's... we've got a little bit of a plan here. If we were to move Baker, and then you're riding Dart and Jones, I can't trust Brissett. We can... I don't love that idea, but we can maybe look at that. What about a tear down from Neighbors? We can try that. So at the 204, I mean, we said like Mike Evans. These are guys that just, you know, if this deal is available, you probably just go out and get it done, right? And Adams, I don't think you can get DJ Moore this cheap. Dobbins and Tyler Algier, I think, are probably the most realistic names here. Now, you could also take those thirds and try and make some bets on like the more unattractive running backs. So, for example, can you send that 304 or the 307 as cheap as you can make it for a Trey Benson? Can you send it? And I don't think he's going to contribute, but you're sending a third round pick in a class that people really don't like. Keep that in mind, right? A Trey Benson, a Rashad White. Maybe you send your third and your fourth for White before the draft. Isaiah Pacheco. You have Pacheco already? No, you don't. A Tony Pollard. My favorite for this would be Jonathan Brooks. I would pay probably the 304 and the 307 for Brooks. You could even take like a shot at Chris Rodriguez. At the receiver spot, if you want to take some of those late round swings, I mean, can you buy Jalen McMillan for... You already have Jalen McMillan. I mean, you could take a swing on like a Diggs. I don't love it. Receivers are harder to kind of pin out with those laters, but I mean, you could take a shot on a Diggs and get a 307, send it for Diggs, hope that he joins a team this offseason. I don't love those later thirds and fourth for receivers. They don't line up as well. Now, Baker. I know this will sound silly, but can you tear down from Baker? What do you mean tear down from Baker? So when I say that, I mean we're going to go from Baker Mayfield to a Stafford, right? Stafford will be a great fit for you. Like, is there a flex we can add to do that? Let's see. Matthew Stafford. So, like a Stafford and Swift is close. This isn't perfect. Yeah, this isn't perfect. That's unfortunate. I was gonna say like a Stafford plus a Devontae Adams, but I mean those are two assets that could collapse pretty instantly. Maybe a future second on top, and you send a third. I don't love that. That's unfortunate. You can't get a Dunze. Could you do Stafford and Harvey? I don't know, man. I'm trying to... Stafford would have been perfect. Let's try a Malik Willis. Right? Malik Willis may be better. Not Washington. Malik Willis. Okay, this could work. Stroud could work too. Okay. A Malik Willis and a Burden. I know that's not going to be perfect, but can you add on to it what you send? You have a future second, right? You have your 27 second. Your 27 second and the 304. And you can add all those late round picks maybe. Not perfect. I would do that for Stroud as well. Those trades are pretty interchangeable. You could try Gadsden or Addison there. Addison is probably very doable, but I would want a pick swap on that. Yeah. Okay, again, not perfect. And CJ Stroud's an option there as well. Last name I can think of here that's a starter is like a Tyler Shuck. Or even like a Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray could work well for you. Shuck's not going to give you much in return. Kyler might give you more. Let's look at Kyler first. Kyler. Ooh. Man, there's not a perfect deal yet, is there? I was going to say like Kyler and Hunter, but I don't like that. That's probably not going to work. The other one that we said was Shuck. Shuck. Okay, perfect. Shuck and Sutton. Shuck and Algier. Shuck and Godwin. Shuck and Ferguson. You know what I mean? That's probably the best one so far. And then you can use that 204 to add a receiver. So again, like picture this. We get Shuck and Algier, so we still have quarterbacks that we can use. We use that 204 on Mike Evans. Then you've got a starting lineup of Dart, Shuck, Jones and Brissett still on the roster, Hampton, Walker, Neighbors, Jefferson, Fannin. You're flexing Nico, Etienne. Who do we just acquire in that world? Algier maybe, but Algier is an option along with all those other names. The Stranges. It gives you just another shot at a name there. I don't think I would go the Neighbors route. You need a hammer. I think I would go that Baker route. So yeah. Any questions, Chasing? Any questions? I think that's a pretty good detailed direction for this team. But anything that I didn't answer that you would like to hear about, let me know. So yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for being a member. He says, do we try and move Strange in this format? I just don't think Strange, even in this format, I don't think he's going to net you much in return. I get the format, but like, you might as well hold him with having the full point premium. Like, what name are you going to get back in return from Strange? Even in this premium, like, could you even get a DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman? I mean, if you can get like a Mike Evans, sure. I don't know if that's possible though. I mean, you know better than me. I mean, can you move him for a Adams? If you can move him for like a DJ Moore, a Devonta Smith, a Jalen Waddle, then that's a no-brainer. I just don't think that's probably possible. But like I said, you would know the answer to that better than I would. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. And, of course, you're going to get your playbook here within the next 3 to 4 business days, my dude. I appreciate you big time. A long-time supporter. Multiple renewals on the annual Mother Flocker membership. Keeping land afloat. I appreciate you, man. We got a couple trades here that just popped through. The Pigeon Man. It's a Superflex 10-team start 10. He's sending away the 204 in Jefferson for first, the 105 in T-Mac. I'll be honest with you, my friend. I have not seen anyone get this type of value for Jefferson this year. Truthfully. This is like Justin Jefferson prices in 2023 and 2024. I very comfortably would take the package. That's a dream tear down. And I love Jefferson, but yeah, this is just a no-brainer. That's I probably would have accepted like McMillan in a first or McMillan in the 105. So to get both of them, that's a no-brainer. Yes, accept that. Take it to the bank. All right, Mills. And one little other thing I'm going to add on to that. I'm going to give you a little preview of the video coming out on Monday. The age cliff for receivers. We need to start thinking about this with our CeeDee Lambs, Justin Jeffersons, these type of players. The age cliff really begins around 26, 27. This is wide receivers who were drafted top 36. And based on their age, if they gained value or lost value. And you can see when you hit that 26 to 28 range, it's not that they can't help you win championships, but the consensus opinion of a player, how they value that player, does drastically drop. Okay, Mills. What's up, Mills? Would you do the 104 for Jefferson straight up? I'd rather have Jefferson pretty easily, yeah, over the 104. Mills is sending away the 103, 108, 112 and Hunter for Willis, Walker, McMillan. Okay. Let's look at this and let's just break it down. I think if you were to trade for Walker, you need to be in that tier of the 103 to get him. So let's say that's even value. Okay. You can prefer one over the other, but you're going to have to pay up for Walker after he signed with the Chiefs. If you want McMillan, I don't think the 108 and the 112 would be enough to get him. No, it just wouldn't, actually. If you wanted McMillan, you'd probably have to pay a 27 first and the 108 and the 112. Like, maybe there's a owner out there who would pay... Oh, these are supposed to be 27 firsts? So what is the deal then? Are all three of those first 27 first, Mills? Like, where do they stack up? Because that would change things. I just think on 27 first, he's saying 1. Oh. Oh, you're saying it's all the right picks, but there's supposed to be an additional 27 first. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, right. Okay. 103, 108, 202, and the 27 first and Hunter for the package. Okay. Okay, so again, let's break that down. I would still agree that the 103 and Walker are equivalent. So then, if you're telling me there's an additional first on this, I would probably say that the 108, the 112, and that additional first is probably equivalent to Tet McMillan. And then you're telling me there's basically Travis Hunter and the 202 or Malik Willis. I do think you're probably giving up slightly too much value here. But I'm not opposed to this idea. Like, my counter, this would be my official counter here, would be to remove Travis Hunter, and then I'm cool with the deal. If you can't remove Hunter, remove at minimum the 112, and then I'm cool with the deal. And again, keeping in mind you have an additional first in the 202 on there, right? That would be my counters there. Those would be my two counters. And then I'm cool with it. Okay. All right. We are going to Betty Bow here. Actually, Betty, you currently have an outdated league. Let me just see if anyone else does. Okay. Betty, you currently have an outdated league, my friend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you another free team review voucher. I'm not going to do this right now because you need to update your league ID. Unless you're here in the chat, let me know. And the only way that your picks wouldn't be showing is if your league hasn't set the draft order yet. But most leagues have set the draft order by now. So what you need to do, my friend, is you need to give our site in the My Teams page. You need to go to the My Teams page, get rid of your old league that was there, and update your username or your league ID. Okay? Because right now it's not showing the latest information. I want to give you the best review possible. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and give you a free voucher to come back and reset all of that so I can give you the best review possible. Let me know if that makes sense. DM me if you have any questions. What's up, Jay Wills? Welcome in. I get that, Mills. I think there's a counter there that gets you closer, but I'm not completely opposed to it. I just think we're not there quite yet. Okay. Ma Rubio 16, are you in the chat? Ma Rubio 16. Let me know if you're here with me. We're having a look at your squad, my friend. And you are currently ranked 6th in your league. And the site currently has your quarterbacks ranked 5th. Same with running backs, 9th for receivers and 4th for tight ends. Okay. This is a super flex 12-team start 11. So this is a big league. This is not, it's not a small one. This is a big old league. He says, this is my top money league and also one of my weakest teams. I need to turn it around, basically. No tight end premium. Let's have a look. Okay. So you are starting right now. Burrow, you have no quarterback 2, which isn't great. Genty, you have no running back 2. Higgins, Egbuka, Warren. Yeah, I mean, there's just nowhere near enough depth right now on this team. There are massive holes pretty much across this roster. You've got some good draft capital to play around with here. And we'll definitely go to the war room and come up with a game plan for your rookie draft. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rookie picks. I don't know that I'd want that many rookie picks in this class in particular. But what can you do? You've got them now, so I would definitely encourage you to like trade those picks for equivalent future picks because I don't want to invest that much into this class in particular. That's a lot of investment into a class that we don't love and is not currently perceived as a very deep class. So we'll come up with a game plan for you, though. Okay. So right now, looking at this team and being completely honest, it's not the best. You've got a lot of work to do. And you even mentioned that in when you submitted this review. I would probably give you an overall team grade today of a C. Am I going C minus or C flat? 1 first and 27. I'm going to go C minus. I think you're a C minus team. And at minimum, I think you need to pump 1 year. At minimum. We'll see if next year we can compete. But draft capital grade, I'll give you an A, though. You got an A on the draft capital grade. Your untouchables right now are Genty and Burrow, but we might actually tear down from Burrow. Not Genty. Yeah, not Genty. We're going to hold Brian Robinson now. We're going to hold Ricky Pearsall. And as far as drops, you can drop Sky Moore for sure, man. You don't need to hold on to him anymore. I believe you can drop Mike Gesicki as well. Don't think these guys need to be rostered on your waiver wire. I'd rather roster Kirk Cousins than Jameis Winston. I just would rather roster that name, but if you have a particular feeling towards Kirk versus Jameis, then, I'm not going to fight you on it. Okay. So with that in mind, let's jump to your war room because I definitely think we can come up with a good game plan for your rookie draft here. Number 1, your goal should ultimately be to gain as much value in this class as possible. And I would try and tear down, but if you were to stick and pick, then I would say the Mendoza or the big 3 wide receivers are the first names that come to mind for me. Those late firsts, you're going to be looking at a bunch of players that we're not obsessed with, but I mean, like the Sadiqs, the Colemans, the Stowers, the Coopers, they're good players. Beyond that, I don't know. Okay. So like it really is BPA from the 209 onwards. It's too early for me to give you good advice on what to use those picks for if you were to stick and pick, right? Just far too early at that point. Now, if you were to trade the 102, I think we can trade back from the 103 to the 105. It's a super flex league. I don't mind if we end up with Mendoza. I would welcome it and get something in return. So let's see. What do those players have? The 105. First off, if you can go to the 105 and get any 27 first on top, then we're doing that in a heartbeat. And that guy has a lot of capital. He's a good team. He should be willing to pay up if there's a player that he's obsessed with at that point of the draft board. If you can't get a first, can you get a Brian Thomas and send back? You don't have much to send. You're not going to get Brian Thomas, unfortunately. But I would do the tear down for Brian Thomas. I would do the tear down for Judkins as well. Yeah. Okay, let's look again at the other picks in this range. Who has the 104.3? Let's see. Oh my gosh, must be owned by the same team. The 103 and the 104 are owned by the same team. I don't mind tearing back to the 104 and getting like an RJ Harvey. Yeah, you're moving back 2 spots. Harvey might be a bust, or Harvey might just, be a breakout. I think that's a good player to add. Nothing else really makes much sense here. I mean, you could do a Kyler Murray and then sell Kyler in season, but I don't know if you could get him for that price. And I don't think this guy would do that looking at his roster, but again, that's another option. With the 109 to the 111, can you trade for any future first? Again, like 27, 28, it doesn't matter, but I don't want to be so invested into this class, and you're very invested right now, heavily invested right now. So I would be cautious to be that invested if you can help it, right? Like if you can find a way to get out of it. Now, looking at your team, I would definitely love to move off of a Burrow and tear down if we can. Trying to punt 1 year. There's quite a few names I would tear down too. I also don't mind selling a T. Higgins or a Kyle Pitts. There's no premium in your league, but yeah, he's still valuable in such a large format. So let's look at those options. Let's look at a Burrow, Higgins, Pitts. And starting off with Burrow. What's a team that could tier up to Burrow? I don't think you get much from Mahomes. I don't think you can go like the Mahomes route. Trevor Lawrence. Can you get Trevor Lawrence in a first? I would do that. Or 28. It doesn't have to be 27. It can be a 28 first. If you can't get the first on top, then there's not really a deal that makes sense for you guys, unfortunately. Purdy in a first, I would do in a heartbeat as well, if that's possible. And again, I would do it for either years. So I'm definitely on board that. Let's see. Shuck is a little scarier, but you can afford to take some risks with this team. I would go Shuck, Hunter, 27 first. Yeah. Maybe even adding a 27 second there. That could work. Don't want to go to Darnold. You can't go to Dart. There's not really much that you can get in return for Dart. You could go to Ward, but you need a pretty significant move here. It needs to be like Cam Ward and 227 first or something. right? Like, it's got to be well worth your time. I would do Knicks in a first as well. Same idea with the Purdy and Lawrence's. Both of those I'd be completely fine to accept. And I think you can't go to Caleb. He's basically priced the same way. For T. Higgins, you could do like a Luther Burden move here where you get a little bit younger. He's kind of in that same range. Maybe you can add a second on in some leagues. You'll know that a little bit better than me, like how your league values those names. Can you move to an Egbuka? You already have Egbuka. Can you move to a McConkey? Can you move to a Brian Thomas plus like a second? And then you can send like Higgins in a third. And definitely try and use those picks this year if you were to do that. Can you get any first in any year for Kyle Pitts? So that's a pretty complete game plan, man. As always, Marubrio, as I say to everyone, I always want you guys to feel like you get the most value out of your reviews, out of your playbooks. I always want you guys to feel like, yes, you're supporting the show, but you're getting an awesome product in return, a very customized review in return, where I just aim to put myself in your shoes. Okay, if this was really my team, what would I do? And that's what I did there with that review, man. I appreciate you big time. You should be getting your playbook here within the next 3 to 4 business days. And to anybody out there watching, absolutely no pressure whatsoever, but if you want to get your team reviewed, we've got a queue tonight that you can join. You can check out the link in the pinned comment. But customized review of your Dynasty team, you can get that 2 ways. Either use the code LAND to become an annual Mother Flocker member. That's the best way, in my opinion. Or you can just go to the a la carte store for a member of a different promo code and get a playbook a la carte there. Now, there's quite a few options now with our a la carte offerings. The team playbook is live by default. You've got the priority pass, which skips the queue, and the pro pass, which doubles your playbooks as well. Wait, does Marubiro have 2 reviews here? How is that even possible? Let me check the back end. Let's see here. Okay, yes. Annual member. But, wow. Rubio, you would have held on to your playbook from 2024. Wow. And now you're using it today. Well, you have a lot of patience, my friend. Okay, let's jump into your next review. And again, thanks for supporting the show for multiple years, man. What's up, JP? Welcome in, my friend. Rubio, let me know if you're in the chat. Team name is Exaltipa Bears. You're currently ranked 7th in this league. So hopefully we can help you get on track there. It's a 12-team Superflex Start 10. There is no tight end premium in this format again. So let's go to your comments here. You said my 102 would be Mendoza. It's a question there. What to do at running back? Question mark. I was runner up in 2024, second worst in 2025. Right. Okay. Kind of went top to bottom there. Started from the top and now we're here at the bottom is what I'm hearing. You say basically there, which is not where we want to be. We want to be at the top. Okay. Good draft capital here to work with. Not too many picks in 2026, which I like. Okay. We've got Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold. Don't love that quarterback room at all. Jacobs, Marks. Don't love that running back room at all. Neighbors, CD, I like that. Strange. Then we'd flex Egbuka, DJ. Okay. To be honest, the only area of your team I could genuinely say I like is wide receiver. And it's no surprise that the site has you 12th ranked on quarterbacks. 11th ranked on running backs. That's not a surprise to me at all, to be honest. Right now, I don't see a world where you're actually a serious contender, man. I'm sorry. I just don't see that being a real possibility. This team is in a rough position, rough shape, not a lot of capital in the future, and not even really enough depth to fill a starting lineup right now. I don't even know who your RB2 is. So this is not a very good team as of today. And I don't know what I gave you last time, but I think it might have been similar. I'm going to give you a C-, and I'm going to say at minimum, we got to punt this year, man. We got to punt. We got to look next offseason and try and be as good as we possibly can. Your untouchables are Neighbors and CeeDee Lamb. I would suggest a Lamb teardown, and we'll look at that today. As far as holds, it's going to sound weird, but I would hold Kyler Murray until the season begins, and then I would sell him. I still think Benson's a hold despite the terrible outcome in free agency. I would still say Ferguson is a hold as well. And Tez Johnson. If you need to drop someone, you can drop Michael Carter. You can drop Khalil Mullings. You can drop DeAndre Hopkins. You can drop Keandre Lambert-Smith. Dude, you can drop a lot of these names, honestly. You can drop Eric All. There's a lot of names you could drop. Spencer Rattler. On your waiver wire, the only interesting names to me are George Holani and Joe Milton, but not too obsessed with those guys. I would actually prefer Tyquan Thornton over a lot of the receivers like Hopkins and Smith there. Okay. You've got a lot of draft picks. We can definitely make some noise with that. You've got 3 second rounders I'm noticing here as well. So it's tough as a rebuilder. I don't really love those picks, but it's not like I'm going to suggest that you sell them for vets. You know, it's a little bit of a strange position when you're so clearly a rebuilder. But let's jump in here. Let's come up with a game plan for your rookie draft. At the 102, you're definitely like a Mendoza team again, or one of the big 3 wide receivers. So just like we did in the previous team, Rubio, I'm definitely going to suggest a tear down. At the 202, you're probably going to be amongst the following names. Let me pick them up here. The 202, this is a 12 team, right? Yeah, it's a 12 team. So at the 202, you're going to be looking at Stowers, Coleman, Antonio Williams, Surratt, Bell, Bernard. That's a big old group of names you would be looking at. Honestly, the 202 to the 208 is pretty fluid in this year's draft. And then beyond that, it's just BPA with those last picks, best player available. I would love to tear down again to the 103 to the 105 in this draft. With the 208, I would say, can we trade for a future second when the draft is happening? And for those late picks, can we use in packages to kind of get deals over the line? Let's see, who has those draft picks, though? The 103 is here. Yeah, like the 103 and Jaden Higgins, I would love. I'm a real big fan of that idea. Something super simple. They also have the 201. Don't love this class, but I would move back one spot for the 201. And that's really where it ends for the 103, unfortunately. But let's see who has a 104. 104 is owned by Team 5. Okay. I wouldn't do like the 104 in Swift. I wouldn't do the 104 in Wilson. This isn't a great fit, honestly. So that's not going to work. Who has the 105? Okay, yes, I like this. The 105 and Travis Hunter. Ooh, that's cool. I like that deal for you, especially someone who doesn't really need that many points this year. I like it. I'd also do the 105 in Bryce Young in case it's on the table. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, hey, I don't want to give up on Hunter, but take Bryce Young. Okay, cool. We'll do that. So those are some options to tier down. I would definitely, like, my biggest goal with your team would be to tier down, just with the position that you find yourself in. Speaking of tearing down, let's go to the chalkboard. I would say in season, we're going to trade some players. Not right now. Kyler Murray is one of those names in season that we can move. I would also... I wouldn't be opposed to moving DJ today. Okay. We talked about CeeDee Lamb, trying to tear down from him. I would definitely sell Josh Jacobs in season as well. So why don't we start there? So CeeDee Lamb, trying to tear down from CeeDee. Let's go through some of these teams and see if there is something that makes sense. So a Roma Dunze and a 27 first. I don't know if you can net more, but that would be great. And that guy has a ton of 27 first rounders. Like, I don't think you can get two 27 firsts. I don't. But I'm not going to tell you not to try it. Like, you know your market a little bit better. I mean, can you get a 27 first plus Brian Thomas? I don't know. I would say, like, do not trade for his 27 firsts because he's a good team. You want one of those other 27 firsts that could gain value, right? So, yeah, I like that deal a lot, like a Rome or a Brian. And this guy is a great option for you to trade with because he should just be trying to win leagues right now. Okay. Let's keep looking here. Chris Olave in a 27 first is a no-brainer. I don't think that's possible in most leagues, but again, I don't want to stop you from trying. I would also do Ladd McConkey, but I think I need more than one 27 first. Oops. Let's say, oh my gosh. What do you think, guys? I think we need more than a 27 first here. Well, honestly, what could be perfect for this team in particular is you sending CeeDee Lamb and Josh Jacobs, and then you get back a 27 first, Ladd McConkey, and Luther Burden. That could actually work out really well. Because it's hard to sell Jacobs in a lot of leagues. This lets you do that. That's probably the best deal I've come up with today for someone, but I like that one a lot. Okay, no tear downs there. No tier. Oh, look, I'd go to Pickens. I'd go to Pickens in a first pretty easily. I couldn't tell you who's going to score more points this year, so that's a no-brainer if it's possible. He really is the main piece, CD is, that I would like to tear down off of. I don't think you can tear down to London. I don't think you get McMillan in a first. If you could, obviously, like, do it. I'm just not going to write it down because I don't think it's possible. Okay, I do think Marvin is possible. And I say that because I did this trade in a league. Oh, no, I traded Pickens away. What did I trade Pickens away for? I traded Pickens for Marvin and 2 firsts. I sent Pickens in 2 seconds. So maybe you could get Marvin Harrison in 2 firsts. Okay, in season, we want any first rounder, not 2026. And then Josh Jacobs, same thing. Right? In season, Jacobs going to be far more attractive to people than he is today. So that would be my game plan, man. That would be how I would roll this out, my dude. Be curious to hear what opinions you may have there. But yeah, let me know what you think, my brother. And of course, like I said earlier to the other people, you're going to get that playbook here within the next 3 to 4 business days. We're currently working out a way to try and pump these out faster for you guys. But I'll let you know once that changes. Shout out to Kate. She's doing a lot of awesome work for our graphic design. She's killing the game. But I appreciate you. Rubio, thanks for being a member for multiple years, supporting the show. That's awesome, my friend. I did just get the handful hamster. I'm confused because depressed Cowboys fan. I'm just wondering why I'm getting a notification that is there anyone named depressed Cowboys fan in the chat? Because I just got a notification that you submitted a team review, but I'm not seeing it. So let me ask the devs. Is anybody with that username here? Sorry guys, give me one second here. Okay. Apologies. We're going to get that sorted. Like, am I missing something? I don't know why. What's the username? Depressed Cowboys fan. Depressed Cowboys fan 93. Let's see. Which, by the way, I understand why you might be depressed because you're a Cowboys fan. Okay, Devils Carter and Handful Hamster. Who's in the chat? I wanna do one of your guys' first. Whoever's in the chat here with me. Okay. Because I like the back and forth. You know, I like when y'all are here. Not that you have to be here, but I like, you know, kind of having the back and forth discussions. Are either of you guys in the chat with me here today? Let me know. We'll start with the Devil Carter here. The Devil's Carter. Team name is God's Cartel, which scares me. I don't know why, but that scares me. Superflex start 10. So same format we just looked at. And he says, love you. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Now, you're in a league with Aselimo and J.K. Blaine. Wait. This must be one of our leagues. This has got to be one of the leagues that we have recently drafted in for the LAN community. Has to be. Okay. So, start 10 super flex. Is there any premium? There's a 0.5 premium. You are currently ranked dead last, my friend. This is definitely coming out of a startup, so I'm keeping that context in mind. But in my rankings on the Flock site, you would be ranked dead last as a team. Let's find out why that might be. You don't have any draft picks that are going to make us want to use the war room and come up with a game plan. It's just those picks are not going to be impactful. But you're starting Dart and Purdy, then Walker, Barkley, Egbuka, Rice, Kincaid. You're flexing DJ, Adams, and Evans. So honestly, like, it's not the worst team coming out of a startup. You are a contender. It's just, I don't love your running back depth. I don't love your tight end position across the board. Unfortunately, you have absolutely no future first rounders. So you've got to go out there and compete. I'm a little bit scared for this team, to be honest, man. You have no second, you have no first in 2026 or 2027. That's scary. Because you have very, very little ability to improve this roster now. You've really committed, and that's why you are a Windows open pathway for me. You've already determined where you're going. And where you're going is trying to compete right now. I've given you a C+, because I do feel like with this lineup, you can go out there and contend for a championship this year. Again, if everyone stays healthy and you have a lineup of Dart, Purdy, Walker, Barkley, Egbuka, Rice, Kincaid, DJ, Adams, Evans, that is enough for a really good starting lineup. But your depth is really bad. If any injury happens, you're relying on Rico Dowdle, Kenneth Gainwell. Is Debo even playing? Is Tua even playing? This is a toughie, man, because yeah, you got to go out there and win this year. But problem is, dude, like, you don't even have like a candidate that I could tear down from to really feel more comfortable with your depth. We're not tearing down from Saquon or Devontae Adams. It's just not possible. So this is going to be an interesting review. I'm going to be honest, like, straight up, it's going to be an interesting one. You do not have an untouchable on this team. You need to hold Rico Dowdle because you need him to win out that job. You need to hold Kenneth Gainwell because you need him to, if Bucky goes down, be an important part of your roster. You need to hold DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams. You got to hold these guys because you're competing right now. If you need to drop any names, you could drop Milrow to make some room if you wanted to. I'm not saying you have to. You could drop Kmet, again, only if you need to make space. On your waiver wire, Jahan Dotson, I would pick up if I were you. Respectfully, I don't think you can really hold on to a Dante Thornton and wait and see what he becomes. Jahan Dotson might replace Darnell Mooney, so you need more of the veterans. Unless you're a Deontay Thornton guy, look, drop a couple tight ends instead then. There's really not anyone interesting on the waiver wire, though, which is not that surprising. So, again, not trying to be Mr. Negative, here, but just be honest, I don't think you're set up that well coming off a startup. And now I'm at the chalkboard. If you're watching, if you're in the chat, what move would you make if this is your team? For being quite honest with you, like, maybe we can look at a Purdy or a Dart tear down. Tight end room is bad. None of those guys are tradable. You cannot move more Adams, Evans. You have to start them. Egbuka, I don't really want to move. I think you need someone to compete with. Maybe you could tear down from a Walker or a Dart or a Purdy and just do one single move this offseason. But, Wyatt says fire sale. I just don't think he can, though, because he doesn't have his own picks. So he's going to have to try and compete, I think. Okay. Let's look at a Walker idea. And you're not going to like this, but it's not going to be the most attractive pieces that you're tearing down to. Like, you're probably going to have to do like a Harvey AJ Brown. You know what I mean? That's probably the type of move. Gosh, and that's just disgusting. I don't even want to suggest that you do this, but I just think you're in a tough spot, brother. Can you get a Derrick Henry in this if you add, 3/3, whatever you have left? That's kind of the range of where you are, man. Let's keep looking, though. Bucky. What do we think about Bucky Alec Pierce, guys? What do we think about going from Ken Walker to a Bucky Alec Pierce? I don't like that, honestly. I think I might even delete it. I just want to keep looking. Okay, Jacobs would make sense. The problem is that this guy's got no receivers to meet you halfway. Oh, that's frustrating. Judkins and Waddle. This guy could make sense. JK could be a good fit for you to get a Breece Hall plus a Jalen Waddle. Or if it's not Breece, then it's actually Judkins. I think that he is probably your best partner so far if a trade is to happen. I would do Etienne. I just don't know if Iowa Bear is interested, but an Etienne, Flowers, Etienne, or Ladd, I'm totally fine with as well. Sorry, H-N. I'm not doing it on purpose, guys. I know some people are upset when I don't say it right in the content. I promise you I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just, I've been calling him that for a long time. Over half a decade. Travis Achan. Sorry. Yeah, this guy wouldn't work, unfortunately. Travion Brian Thomas. Although, again, that guy's probably not focused on winning this year. Chase Brown is a great one. Unfortunately, Metcalf is not that attractive. I would have loved Chase Brown, but Metcalf's not that attractive. Delusion says, I wouldn't send you Judkins for Walker straight up. No fucking way. You might be the only person in the Dynasty community then, my friend. Especially after Walker signed with the Chiefs. I haven't met anyone that has Judkins higher than Ken Walker, especially if you are playing Dynasty in a 2 to 3 year window, but fair enough. You do you, my friend. You do you. But you're in a tough spot, man. The reality is you might not be able to make a move. You might have to just see this through. We could try and tear down off of Dart, but again, it's hard to tear down off of these names that are already really well established. Like, you could probably go maybe a Dunze Kyler. That's probably the most you could do. I don't feel great about it. Again, you're not in the best position, though. I don't think you can tear down to Trevor. I don't think you can do Love. Dak Prescott's interesting, but again, there's no wide receiver there that would meet you halfway. I do love a Goff Waddle idea. Jared Goff plus Jalen Waddle is probably the best idea so far, and probably the most realistic idea so far. If that has to be Jameson Williams as well, I'm fine with that. To me, I think that's a deal that probably makes the most sense for you so far. These two Dart and Jameson and Jared Goff deals. But you're in a tough spot, man. And coming off of a startup, as you noticed, there's not many teams that are going to be a good fit. Many teams are not going to be in a position where they're going to want to do tear downs. There's not going to be many natural tear downs where someone isn't winning or losing. And that's just kind of the unfortunate reality of the situation. That sucks, man. But honestly, you're going to have to hope for health. That's going to have to kind of save you there. And I do definitely wish you the best of luck, my friend. You will get your team playbook here within the next 3 to 4 business days. Let me just explain this again. I explain this pretty much every stream, but there are some people who don't watch us constantly and they might not know this. There's never been a single moment in history since I started doing reviews about 5 years ago or whatever it was, where I have claimed, hey, these deals here on the screen, they're 100% going to be accepted. There's no doubt about it. Could never do that. Every single person in Dynasty values players differently. That's why every single creator on the Flock site has different rankings. You guys all view players differently, like we all view players differently. The goal is to brainstorm for you, to come up with ideas that are beginning points. There's never a single trade that I ever send out that is accepted when I first send it. That's why counters begin. These are initial trade ideas for people. We're helping them brainstorm to get to the place that they want to get to. I appreciate you, Devil Carter. Again, you're going to get your review here within the next 3 to 4 business days. What's up, Jonah? Says, how do I get a team review like this? Well, I'm about to go into my next one, so let me, that's a good natural segue. I do still have spots on tonight's stream if you want to get your team reviewed. Easiest way to get a team playbook, which is you get this beautiful graphic after I review your team on this live stream, customized to your Dynasty offseason. You can use the code LAND, become an annual Mother Flocker member. That is the best way to do it, in my opinion, get the most bang for your buck. Other way is to go through the Flock store if you're a member of a different promo code, and you can get one a la carte. Link is in the pinned comment section. Again, I would highly suggest that you become an annual Mother Flocker member. It is way more bang for your buck. Not only do you get the live playbook and the war room, you get 6 additional trade question vouchers to come back and ask any questions when the review is done. You get the rookie report, unlimited access to the Flock Fantasy website. You also get access to our land community leagues, which we run every single Monday. There's a brand new league that you can be a part of. You unlock our entire Discord. We are actually raffling off spots for the Athena League tomorrow. So Jonah, hypothetically, if you became a member today, then you could guarantee a spot in tomorrow's drawing. And that league is drafting on Monday on a real live stream, real league with our community, other community members. You get the playbook, you get all of that. You get the Discord, you get our exclusive call tab, all of the exclusives that we offer. DM me if you guys have any questions whatsoever. You can check out the link in the pinned comment. What's up, Mr. Anti? What's up, dude? He says, this is Handful Hamster and probably the Depressed Cowboys fan. Okay. So did you change your username then? Is that right? Let me know if that's correct. So did you change your username from Handful Hamster to Depressed Cowboy? It says not recently. So when did you last change your... But were you previously Depressed Cowboys fan and now you're Handful Hamster? And if so, when did you make that change? Let me know. Just because I'm talking to our dev team on the background and I want to make sure I give them the proper information. But thanks for being here, man. This is going to be fun. I get to have you here in the chat while we look at your team. He says, at some point, maybe a year or so ago. Okay, weird. Let me tell him. Guy on the stream said it was him. But that he changed his username about a year ago. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure I improve the site when I can. Okay. Let's jump into it, man. First off, hey, man, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for keeping the lights on here. The only reason I can create great content for you guys and employ people to help me create the great content like my video editor and graphic designer is because of the support from people like yourself. So I appreciate it greatly. You've got a Superflex Start 9, which is a smaller lineup for a Superflex league. Only 2 flex spots to consider. Kyler is a team name. I'm guessing we might have Kyler Murray. Just a wild guess. You're currently ranked 2nd. He says, "What's up, Zach? You have the best content. I appreciate you. That's kind. I just moved Nico for the 103, trying to get younger at receiver, trying to keep up with a Thanos in the league. Need some direction at running back, quarterback. 11th spot is team defense. What do you think?" So you guys have defense in this league. Is that what you're telling me? Let me know if that's the case. Okay, so only a couple picks this year. It's a 103 and the 203. And you've got good depth at receiver. Only thing I was thinking is, like, if you're competing this year, I don't even know if I want to use that pick on a receiver, to be honest, looking at your team. That might confuse you, but it'll make sense in a second. No first for you that, like, you don't own your own first is what I'm trying to say in 2027, do you? I'm not seeing a 27 first that's connected to you. You've got it from a different team, which I'm not upset about. That is almost guaranteed to be the 101. Wow, great job. I'm not upset about it, but it does make me go ahead and instantly say we're a Windows open pathway. Without our own first, we want to do everything we can to go out and compete and win a championship this year. The good news is, man, like, the Flock site doesn't have you that far off from the Thanos. Yes, he's a very good team. He's a very good team. But in the same light, I've seen Thanoses that have a far bigger gap between you and him right now. Okay, so you are starting Lawrence and Murray, Hampton and Henderson, JSN, Lamb, McBride. You only have 2 flex spots, and those 2 flex spots will be T-Mac and Wilson. You will also, on your bench, have Burden, Watson, Higgins, Tootin. Yeah, this is not a bad team at all. I actually think this is a really good team. I would put you probably in the... It's like really close between A- and B+. I'm going to go A- and give you the benefit of the doubt for today. Your untouchables, guys that you don't want to move. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Trey McBride. Those are the guys I would say we're not moving them. As far as holds on this team, I would hold names like Jaden Higgins, Malik Washington, Adonai Mitchell, and probably DJ Giddens, just because right now, unless something happens in the draft, he's the handcuff to Taylor. If you need to drop someone, you can drop Eckler. I don't see him being an important part of a roster again. And if you need to, you could drop Rattler. I'm not saying you have to, but just if you need to clear space. On your waiver wire, you've got Jalen Naylor is worth a roster spot. And then I would also say Jordan James, who is probably the handcuff to CMC. Now, my friend, let's go to the chalkboard, to the war room. Let's look at your rookie draft and let's come up with a game plan. Earlier, you heard me say I wouldn't spend that 103 on a receiver. So you might have been confused. Like, why would I say that? You just don't need help at receiver. You don't. You do need help at running back. Tootin's a great RB3, but I want another hammer or another really good veteran there personally. Look, if you're going to stick and pick, then it's either going to be one of the big 3 wide receivers, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, or Carnell Tate, or Fernando Mendoza. Those are your options there. I wouldn't do that if I had your team. At the 203, though, you can kind of take a shot on a player that you like in this class, whether that be Stowers, Coleman, Claire, Bell, Surratt, whatever running back is there. right? That's a path you can take if you like. I would much rather trade for a running back, that 103. So to me right now, and also, by the way, not just my opinion, but based off of everything I've seen in the market, like hundreds of trades and so many daily, this is the sweet spot. This is a sweet spot for Jonathan Taylor and James Cook. That is a sweet spot for those two names. Again, I just think your team I'd feel a little bit better about with Trevor Kyler, Hampton, Taylor, Hampton, Cook, and then Henderson and Tootin. We allow them to develop rather than relying on them straight out of the box as year 2 players. You could also try and send that 203 for a Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, right? Those could be some names that I think could make some relative sense. So either way, I think those are really good targets for your specific team. And he said, trying to pull an RB from Jeremiah, but he has been so stubborn, understandably. Yeah. The good news is he doesn't have the targets you're trying to go after, which is Taylor and Cook. You can't get Achane for the price that you have. He says, feeling better about Cook over Taylor, though, right? Yeah, I'd prefer Cook, but whichever one I can get done, I would do either. But I prefer Cook if you had to choose one. But both are really, really good options. And you need to win, right? I mean, we need to go out there and win right now. Now, this is going to sound weird, but I'm not opposed to a CeeDee Lamb teardown. And the reason I say that is, like, I would love to slightly tear down from CeeDee and include Darnold in it. So I can slightly tear down at receiver and slightly tear up at quarterback. He says I'm a Cowboys fan. Okay, you know what? That's okay. Just tell me now, what are you opposed to moving CeeDee? Like, it's okay if that's, like, I get it. There are some teams where I'm just like, dude, I want to root for my team. I get that. Is this one of those teams? Are you not open to a CeeDee tear down? It's okay if the answer is yes. But okay, so we can explore it then if you're open to it. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these teams. Okay, how about the guy at the top? You're not going to get to Caleb Williams, though. I was going to say, like, I don't think you can get to Caleb Williams. He might be out of range. Let's keep looking. Can you go to... I thought, like, Jalen Hurts, and then you get back a DJ Moore or a Jameson Williams? That might be too far down. I don't love that because I'm not trying to tier that far down at receiver. So let me keep looking for you. Okay. Dak would be great. Okay, this is perfect. So we're going to grab back Dak Prescott, and we're going to get, what do you think? Like, probably Lab McConkey. I would even love to add, like, Mike Evans there. We don't really need Evans. You have so much depth already. But if you could throw back, you know, you've got a 27 second, and you could try that, but you probably don't even need Mike Evans Mike Evans. Sorry. I kind of like that. Dak and Ladd. I don't know if you could get anything on top of this. You know, of course, I would suggest, can you get a first on top if you send a second, like a kind of a pick swap? The answer is probably no. I'm going to be honest with you. The answer is probably no. But again, like I said earlier, the goal here is not to tell someone that all these trades are 100% possible, and as soon as you send them through, they're going to get accepted. No, it's like to help you brainstorm, to get the juices flowing in your league, and you got to start somewhere with these trade offers. Okay. This team isn't going to work, unfortunately. Yeah, that team isn't going to work. Baker Mayfield. Nope, there's no tear down from CeeDee. Pickens. Ooh, this is great. This is my favorite. And as a Cowboys fan, you got to like this one. There you go. That is one of the best trades I've made today. One of the best trades I've made today. CeeDee Lamb and Sam Darnold for George Pickens and Baker Mayfield. You still get to keep your Cowboys. Oh, that's hot. Could you add on to that? Hey, why don't we try and get James Cook involved here too? Remember, we'll add James Cook and we'll send the 103. That's a possibility. Now, with these deals, could you get anything in return on top? For example, I think Kittle would be a great addition on top. If not Kittle, you know, can you do a pick swap? You know, that kind of idea there. Lamb and Darnold. Okay, let's keep looking. I do really like that patch of offers though, and he might be the best candidate. I don't really want to go any further down. Okay, so those are your main options, I would say, with a CeeDee Darnold move. I don't really want to tear down from CeeDee just to do it because you're in a start 9 league, so you know. You're in a start 9 league. I mean, we don't really have to, but I do love the Darnold Lamb to Pickens Baker move. That would be the main idea I have. I mean, again, using that 103 to get a running back, you're set, dude. Kyler's a great quarterback too this year with the Vikings. And then you've got to pick next year. Your main weakness right now is quarterback. Like, you don't have a stud there. But you're probably about to have the chance to add Jeremiah Smith. And who knows? Like, you might be able to use a 101 next year to get Josh Allen and something. You know, that's how people value Jeremiah Smith. But, yeah, dude, I like the team a lot. Do you have any questions for me? Is there anything that you need me to answer that I haven't answered yet? I always want you guys, when you get a review, when you get a team playbook, when it's done, for you to feel like Zach spent time, he put himself in my shoes, he got creative, and he really did everything he could to kind of point me in the right direction. That's my ultimate goal. If there's any questions that you have, anything that I didn't cover, then let me know. Let me know. I'd be happy to answer that. I don't know why I said Baker. I meant to say Brock Purdy. Sorry, guys. Good catch. Good catch. Mr. says, should I trade out of my 26 draft completely and just shoot for 27 picks, like an early first and 3 seconds next year? I don't know. Like, I honestly think you're a contender. So I don't see a reason to, like, punt. You know, I don't know. I just don't think. If I looked at this team, I would say I can definitely win a championship. What am I missing? It's one running back that I can build around. And again, like, that 103 is the perfect range for Taylor and Cook. But could you do that? Sure. But if it's going to be like a random late first, no, I wouldn't do that. Like, the 103 is a good pick this year. That's a good player. So, yeah. Does that answer the question? Like, does that make sense why I would say that? No worries. No worries, man. Again, thanks for being a member. I appreciate you greatly. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on over here at Land. Always love our supporters. Guys, to answer your question, Murphy, yes, Badaki has moved on. Obviously, we love the guy, but he has moved on to a new stage of life. We talked about that about a month or two ago. So we appreciate him and cheering him on in his new stage of life. Mike says, I'd go and try to decapitate Thanos. That's right. Let's go for the championship, baby. Okay. 2 things. Number 1, on tomorrow's stream, I've decided, based off the poll, that we're going to do an auction draft. So I'd love for you to come join me tomorrow. Let's do an auction draft. Let's have fun with it. I might even do it like in the early morning. I don't know. Like, I've never done a morning stream. Let me ask you guys this. If I were to stream at like 7 a.m. New York time, that's probably pointless, right? To do that. That's probably pointless. I've never tried it. I was just thinking out loud, but probably pointless. Maybe I'm answering my own question there. Anyway, I appreciate y'all so much. 2 things. Again, tomorrow, I probably will stick to the regular time. I don't think it's going to make sense for me to stream when I thought I was going to. So I'll stream at the regular time tomorrow. We'll do an auction draft. I'd love for you guys to join me. I had so much fun doing that auction draft last week. Still don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot as I go. Second thing that I need you guys to know is on tomorrow night's stream, we are officially going to raffle off the spots for the Athena League, our next follower league, which is a real league that you can be a part of, real prize pot on the line, hosted for land members exclusively. So, for example, like, Mr. Maintenance Man, right, who just became a member today, I would highly suggest for you, for example, go, you have to be an annual Motherflocker member, which he is, but sync your Discord on the Flock site, then you'll see the Land Leagues tab. Once you fill out that Land Leagues tab, DM me if you're a brand new member. I will fast track you and guarantee your spot to the next league. But for everyone else, if you're already in a league, then watch tomorrow night's stream and we will raffle off those spots. So again, I appreciate y'all. All right, I'm going to quick fire through these. Jelly says, Ken Walker on a random 21st or Genty. Jonah says, if you had to stack roster, one of 2 Thanos, and time moves and Bride Love unlikely. What's your move? Sell high unlikely? I mean, it depends on what you can get for those guys. And it's just, Jonas, it's hard to answer that question because I would have to dive into so many questions like, what does the rest of your team look like? What's the format? Are there premiums, right? It's hard for me to really say what I would do without actually having your team in front of me and looking at it. But, I mean, I will put Loveland likely on the block and see what comes back. And if it makes sense for my roster, then I would be interested in making some moves. But that's it for today, guys. Video released already today, so go check that out. I talk about over 100 names and whether we're going to hold or cut those names. Go check that out on the stream. I'll be live tomorrow. You can submit your team reviews if you want to be the first in the queue. And I'll see y'all then. Nothing but love. Thanks for hanging out with me.